Um, Hi. I don't know how to make this, but other than to say, I don't know why they're demonizing Hannah Gutierrez. Like that firearms expert they had on the stand, and I've been listening to some of this because I'm trying to figure out where someone messed up. Because me, as a firearms owner, would like to know, and just like that, everyone says, "Oh, how could it go off?" Just like that. Now I know this thing's empty. I cleared it. And the point I'm trying to make with this video is that firearms expert in that trial is an idiot. Because just like everyone else is saying, oh, I've done it, never done it. Well, right there, if you're not paying attention, shit happens. Usually complacency is where you have a problem with firearms. Complacency kills, leads to negligent accidents. But the point I'm trying to make here is that firearms expert is an idiot. He didn't know what he was talking about. This gun was designed, as far as I know, to be loaded with 5 rounds and to be dropped on an empty cylinder. So if this was going to be, accurate from what I've understood, 5 rounds with an empty cylinder. So I would go back to, I would open the loading gate, I would load 1, I would skip 1, I would load another 4, drop the loading gate, and then when I racked it back and dropped it, it would be on an empty cylinder. This is how this gun was intended to be carried. And that's the sad, short, simple truth of it. That firearms expert saying, you just do it like that. No, don't drop this thing down. Because it's just like I did a minute ago. It's just too easy to slip and bang. Because then you got to manipulate it with one hand. And it's not the best thing to be racking and dropping. And that's where I was wondering with the Rust movie. Did they load this thing with 6 rounds? Did they load it with snap caps? No, they loaded it with projectiles. Yeah, we got problems here, especially the ammo that they were using, not to mention it was insanely old. That's an issue all among itself. But getting on about these guns, you get into the newer models, like this Heritage, $120 gun, where it works the same way, 4 clicks. But if you notice, it's back just a little bit, the hammer, like the gun expert was saying. That's because this particular gun, and just to make everyone happy, checked it before the video, has a safety right there. And if I flip that down, you can see the red, ready to fire. And I could shut that. And yeah, someone's going to be mad. I just pointed the gun at myself, and that's because I'm trying to show the camera and all that. I understand the firearms expert. Keep it pointed in a safe direction. Well, the problem is, I know this thing's a paperweight at the moment. So I can point it wherever I want. It really don't matter. Now, if I didn't know it was a paperweight and I knew it was loaded, that's a different story. You treat this thing like a very sharp knife. Don't play with it. Don't run with scissors, as Mommy used to say. But anyways, like this gun, you could load with 6 rounds. Put that safety on, keeps the hammer back. You rack it, you can pull the safety back, and you're ready to go. Now, I don't understand why they're demonizing this girl, or I kind of understand it. They don't want to admit that Baldwin fucked up, or somebody fucked up, because this gun was made ready by her and handed to someone else, who handed it to someone else, who handed it to Baldwin. So it becomes an issue of who was playing with the gun. If your employer cut corners and someone got injured because of negligence, who would be at fault? Everybody? The employer mainly? I don't know. I know everyone's demonizing this poor girl, and it's sad that this firearm expert's going to get on there and say, hey, you got to load this with 6 and drop it down. And people are going to say, hey, you need to load it with 6 and, can't really do it with this one because that hammer is such a... But I did do it a minute ago, so... But this one, put the safety on so I don't dry fire my 22. A little bit easier to slip. Bang. It just went dead. Just shot off. I loaded it with 6 rounds. I racked it back, pulled the trigger, and Bam. Whoops. Whoops. Yeah, that's the problem. Don't load it with 6 rounds. Load it with 5. It was designed and intended. Everyone will tell you load this thing with 5. Unless you're dealing with the newer model that has a safety. But don't listen to me. I'm just a pesky citizen. These are my thoughts and opinions and problems that I have with the Rust case. Because you can sit here and demonize anybody for anything, and the prosecutor can sit there and lie. We've seen it with Kyle Rittenhouse. And I probably just pissed off half the comments or whoever's seen this. But, you know, Richard Jewell, you seen it with Richard Jewell. He tried to be honest, and look what they did to him. Demonized him and tried to make it seem like he did a bunch of bombings, which, you know, if and buts and coconuts, you know, life moves on and we'll see. You know, it's just crazy government and society, and, you know, I can't believe they're demonizing this girl, but I can believe it, but I don't believe she was negligent. I believe she was young and incompetent, and I believe that the system took advantage of her and that these people are pawning it off on her. Yes, somebody had it out for her. You know, and I think back to my high school gym coach. And everyone's going to be like, oh, my high school coach was inspirational. My high school coach was a jackass. That man watched me so much. He seen I didn't dress out for school, for gym, and he failed me for it. But yet never asked himself, what's going on in this boy's life that he wears the same white t-shirt and the same blue jeans to school every day? Never called DCF or nothing. So that idiot of a coach paid attention enough to see me and see me wearing the same thing and know that I wasn't dressing out, which I was dressing out. You just seen me not dressing out because I was the last one to dress out. You know, I was scared of getting naked with a bunch of men. You know, little boy shit. You know, now I probably wouldn't think 2 things about it. Fuck it, we're guys in a locker changing. You know, but when I was young, you know, I changed. I just didn't change with everybody. But, you know, I still failed gym. I still had to write a letter to the teacher saying I'd dress out for the rest of the year, not to fail. I had to listen to my parents criticize me for failing gym for not dressing out. When, in all honesty, I dressed out every single day. And that guy, that coach, screwed me. Just like they're screwing Hannah. And I know someone could say people aren't all like that. You can't look at it. Life's better. No. People still screw you. Years later on, I had to call this lady who basically blew me off and tried to put me in jail because she was too incompetent or either too spiteful to call me back and leave me a voicemail, and actually told everyone my phone didn't work. And this is me being an adult instead of me being a little kid. So yeah, people are out here to fuck you, and people will fuck you, and that's the sad truth of the matter. So yeah, with that, I'll digress. Y'all be safe out here, and remember, don't load it with 6 rounds and think you're going to be okay. Load it with 5 and you'll be okay. Try to have a good night.